Hey folks, how you doing? It's Clay Francisco here again. Yeah, with another book review. Told you guys in the last video, or maybe video back, I can't remember, that I was reading Sarah J. Maas, and I actually got through the first Throne of Glass book. Because, if I'm gonna be a writer, I've got to do my research, and that's pretty popular right now. I wasn't gonna read the oh my goodness, it's something about roses and thorns and crowns and her other one, the actual like Beauty and the Beast romance novel. Um, I'm probably not going to delve that far into her work just because it's not really the genre I'm going to be writing in, but she's a very popular author right now, so I got to check it out. And that's what I've been doing. I don't know if you guys have noticed it all or if there's like any pattern other than just total chaos, but that has been what I've been doing is I've been going back and reading old stuff, right? Like, Starship Troopers and like even like all the way back to John Carter of Mars to get that like sword and sorcery, like back when sci fantasy was still a thing, all the way up until now, right? Last I did Brent Weeks and then some other stuff and just, keep piling it on, right? Nobody needs another Terry Goodkind review. Nobody needs another, Terry Brooks, whatever, right? Two Terrys. Anyway, so I I liked it. It's kind of a weird admission, but like for it being a romance novel, it's actually really character driven. I think in the whole thing there's only like one or two sex scenes like really, and I don't even know that they're I don't want to give spoilers, right? So I don't necessarily want to like I don't want this to be a spoiler review because I know there's a lot of fans out there who do that and or who read Sarah J. Maas or want to. And if you're a guy out there and you're like, I don't try it, it's actually really good. Ish, right? So then here come the caveats to it being really good. It's about your expectation, right? My expectation going into this was it was going to be horrific romance drivel that people glom onto, not dissimilar to 50 Shades of Grey and or the Twilight series, right? No, it's not that at all. She does a few things that I don't really like, but that's like a stylistic choice, right? One of the things that she does that I don't like is haul ass. She uses the term haul ass a lot, and it doesn't seem to fit in the fantasy thing that she's doing. Every so often, people get a little, it's 2020 lippy, futuristic talk and slangy and stuff like that, right? And so on the other side of it, you don't want them saying dost, mine, thine, thou, all that jazz, right? But at the same time, it's funny when you notice when they do the opposite, right? You don't, yeah, so it's the two ends of the spectrum, right? And so that's one of the only real things that I noticed that was jarring about it. Other than that, it does fall into your standard, well, I mentioned this in the Brent Weeks review, that every man is 6'1.5" and shoulders as broad as an elephant's with, the ginormous abs and every guy, every dude. There are no dudes who look like me in this world at all. No narrow-shouldered, skinny dudes. None. And there are no big women. Every woman is thin and beautiful and lovely and lithe and, right? So that's where it falls into the same, Brent Weeks category where every dude is sullen and awesome and every woman is just, a goddess waiting to be whatever. So it falls under some of those tropes, but it's kind of like a romance adventure. It actually, to me, feels, I mean, yeah, it's got like a women bent, sure, whatever, but it feels a lot like what you would expect from, your Conans and your John Carter of Mars and that kind of stuff where you've got a protagonist, who goes on adventures, and there is always some buxom blonde, right? That is and it's just reversed, right? It's that same kind of thing. So it while I was expecting a romance novel, it does feel very much like what one would expect from classic fantasy. I mean, it does. It's a light read. It's that cotton candy stuff where you just you blow through it, it's done. So it does. That's why I expected it to be romance novel-y. I expected it to be shallow like that, and just oh no, there's only one bed and we've got to stay in the hotel. I mean, they do it right. She does it, but it's fun how she takes the different tropes, the different ideas, and blends them together into the fantasy genre. And she does a really good job with it. I mean, I really love the way she structures her stories, right? Very like movie-like in the visuals. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff about her writing that I really, really enjoy. Even the characters, for every man being proto-man and every woman being proto-woman, they still do some interesting stuff, right? Some of the women characters are, especially in the later books, because I'll talk about this now. I read, I think the first one, which I just went back to read, but then, I read the third and the fifth, or third and the sixth one, I think, just to give you a heads up on the ones I read. I read the Tower of Glass culmination book, which I cannot remember what it was called. I'm sorry. I've been reading too much. By the way, I'm reading The Furies of Calderon right now. It's hilarious. Check it out. Jim Butcher. Anyway, that's an aside. I'll do a review about that later. Oh my goodness. And now I just got completely distracted. Oh yes, right. Where I was at in the storyline. There's that book, right, where she actually completes what I would consider the storyline for book one, kind of, but not really, right? I don't want to give spoilers. And then the book after that, which is basically, it's The English Patient, but with a dude who's in a wheelchair, and a woman from another place who's his enemy, and she's forced to take care of him and heal him and blah blah blah, and they work through their issues together, which is boring. That's some romance novel BS, and I did not like that book. It was boring. But the opposite side, the other character who is in it, is one of these Iron Teeth witches. And it's fun because she did two parallel romance stories that were exactly what you would expect, right? In the romance genre, as far as like the story arcs and the structure and that sort of thing. But in the background, right, the overarching storyline that she went with for the series, right, not for the book, for the individual book, kept going and was a fantasy heavy backdrop where the story did progress. And so it was like a timeout book almost. So that was really interesting how she did that. Even though I didn't like the book, right? As an author, I totally see why she did that. I'm sure the fans loved it. It got way deeper into the characters, but it wasn't just a section. It wasn't an entire book about it. But yeah, I get it. I get why she did it. The Iron Teeth Witches are amazing, and I actually genuinely enjoy them. I would read stuff about them off on their own in a sub-series, just letting folks know. It's good. Yeah, so if you're, I'm going to wrap this up because it's getting long. If you're one of those guys out there who's like, I'm not going to do it, read it, try it. It's actually really good. I had a fun time with it. If you like fantasy, you like adventure books, if you've read, any of that female-centric, adventure stuff that's coming out nowadays, and if any of it speaks to you at all, go check out Sarah J. Maas. It's pretty darn good. Other than a couple of ridiculous sex scenes where trees explode upon orgasm. Oh yes, I'm not even kidding you. It's pretty fun. And even that, I was dying. That was pretty, yeah. So, she's unique. I would check it out. yeah, if you've got some spare time and you've got yeah, if you've got the inclination, do it. Like, subscribe, tell me what you want me to review, because I'm just going to keep doing this with what I'm researching to help me out as an author, right? And if that's cool with you, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. The next review to come up is going to be that book, Jim Butcher, Furies of Calderon, book 1. Then the second one is like Academ's Fury or something like that. It's, check it out. I have to go research the rumors or not, whether or not it really is a Pokemon / Roman Legion knockoff thing that he's been challenged to do, because if that's actually the truth, Mount Gyarados is pretty hilarious. So anyway, yeah, like, subscribe, thumbs up, all the good stuff. You guys have a great day.